Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing. Hours after meeting with United States President Donald Trump yesterday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu headed over to Capitol Hill to hold talks with senior congressional figures on a range of Middle East security issues. The Israeli Prime Minister met with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, House Speaker Paul Ryan, House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, and House Majority Whip Steny Hoyer, in a series of sit-down discussions. Ryan said in a statement that the two men had spoken about, quote, the need to hold Iran accountable for its actions, bolster Israel's qualitative military edge, and push back against international efforts to delegitimize the Jewish state. Prime Minister Netanyahu and I redoubled our commitment to strengthening the historic alliance between the United States and Israel, end quote. No statements were issued from the other meetings, which were held behind closed doors. Just hours after the first official summit between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and United States President Donald Trump, the Prime Minister spoke to a press congregation confirming that he and President Trump had discussed the issue of Israeli settlements in the West Bank. According to the White House readout, President Trump reiterated his desire for peace throughout the Middle East and a comprehensive agreement that would end the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The president did, however, ask Netanyahu to hold back on settlement construction, at least until an agreement can be formed. This is just weeks following the passing of the Knesset's regulation bill, in which over 4,000 illegally built settlement homes were retroactively legalized. Trump said of what peace might look like that, quote, I'm looking at 2 states and 1 state, and I like the one that both parties like, end quote. This was in line with previous White House statements that the new American administration would simply back whatever agreement the Israelis and Palestinians, as well as possibly other Middle East nations, would come up with. Several Jewish groups, Jewish lobbies, and American lawmakers urged the president to reconsider his attitudes on a possible one-state solution, however. The reform movement called it potentially devastating to the prospects for peace and Israel's Jewish democratic future. At the news conference with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday, President Donald Trump dodged a question about an increase in anti-Semitic incidents since his election. First, he bragged about his electoral college victory in the 2016 election, and then said he would bring peace, stop crime, and do everything in our power to stop long-simmering racism. Said Trump, quote, as far as people, Jewish people, so many friends, a daughter who happens to be here right now, a son-in-law, and 3 beautiful grandchildren, I think that you're going to see a lot different United States of America over the next 3, 4, or 8 years. You're going to see a lot of love, end quote. Other issues that arose were over a statement issued by the Trump administration on the World Holocaust Remembrance Day, which omitted specific mention of the Nazi genocide. Netanyahu defended Trump over the statement, saying criticism of the president over the issue was misplaced. 5 former United States ambassadors to Israel have written a letter saying that David Friedman, President Donald Trump's nominee for the post, is unqualified. In the letter sent to members of the Foreign Relations Committee yesterday, the former ambassadors urged senators to carefully consider Friedman's nomination, accusing him of extreme radical positions, and that they believe the committee should satisfy itself that Mr. Friedman has the balance and the temperament required to represent the United States as ambassador to Israel. The letter was signed by Thomas Pickering, William Harrop, Edward Walker Jr., Daniel Kurtzwer, and James Cunningham. The Foreign Relations Committee is scheduled to meet today for Friedman's confirmation hearing. Several liberal Jewish organizations and their supporters are protesting the nomination, while Friedman's conservative supporters have backed him, including the Orthodox Union, which sent their letter of support to the Senate committee. A Gallup poll released yesterday shows that 71% of Americans have a favorable view of Israel, while 27% hold an unfavorable view. This is the 4th year in a row that Israel has maintained a favorable rating of 70% or higher. This year's results show 29% of Americans view Israel very favorably, 42% mostly favorably, 21% mostly unfavorably, and 6% very unfavorably. Only 8% of respondents were neutral in the Jewish state. Politically, Israel fares better among Republicans, with 81% holding a favorable view. 61% of Democrats have a favorable view of Israel, which the pollster says is the lowest percentage among major subgroups. Netanyahu was found to have a 49% favorability rating among American adults, significantly lower than among Israelis. Some 30% of respondents hold an unfavorable view of Israel's prime minister. That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.